I cut the check, I cut the check, I cut the check. Tell my niggas we up next, so we up next. She shot a text, she shot a text, she shot a text. Kill the I might put the different day, put a nigga on that same shit. I've been ballin' with my niggas, Kevin Cambridge. Oh, you drippy, but you better tuck your chain quick.
What's up, y'all? We back with another quick episode. So yesterday was a crazy day, and it was a sad day if you're a Rockets fan, because from the outside looking in, it looks like it's about to blow up. So we got plenty of reports of bad news from the Rockets. The main report that sparked it all was, well, actually it was two. In the beginning, Russell Westbrook and James Harden, like I said, they were not talking to the Rockets for the last 2 weeks. They were ignoring their calls for the last 2 weeks. And then around the time when I finished my podcast, like an hour after that, Russell Westbrook comes out and he says he doesn't want to be with the Rockets no more. He wants to request a trade. So he's gone. They didn't trade him yet, but he's gone. And that's crazy because like this experiment with him and James Harden only lasted 1 year. And they best friends, so like I didn't think it was gonna be over this quick. But from what I'm hearing is Russell just didn't like the way the team was ran. He felt like he was playing all ball too much, and Russell was a player that wants the ball in his hands a lot, so I understand what he's saying. He also said there was no accountability for James Harden. James Harden would make a mistake, but nobody would call him out on it. And I guess Russell's not used to that. So he said he was the only one that was holding James Harden accountable. And he just felt like that's just not the way he wants to play basketball. That's not the team he wants to play for. He felt like the scheme, it just didn't fit him. It didn't fit him, so he wanted out. He requested a trade. And it kind of like sparked, like everybody was surprised yesterday. Because I was definitely surprised because like they best friends. So I didn't think this report would ever come out. I thought they would just go back at it. Even though it makes sense to blow the Rockets up because they obviously have a ceiling, and that's just making it to the second round. That's it. You're going to automatically get bounced out. That's all they can do. Especially when the West keeps getting better, and they are just being the same Rockets they've been for the last few years. That's their ceiling. They're not going past second round no more. So at this point, you might as well trade Russell Westbrook because it looked like he's starting to regress, and he's starting to get a lot more injuries. But he still has a high trade value. You might as well trade James Harden, because he has a high trade value, and there's no point in keeping him on your team just to lose, because that's just wasting his career. So he's about to hopefully James Harden gets traded, but Russell Westbrook is definitely getting traded this off season. And I don't know, it's making this off season even more great. Like I said, this off season is going to be one of the greatest because it's going to be so quick, and it's going to be so much news coming out of nowhere. You're just not going to know. You're just not going to know. So we had other reports, and then that was just the first two news from the Rockets. We had a report that Daniel House was a player that was not pleased with the usage of his involvement in the offense, and he had arguments with Mike D'Antoni, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. I don't know what that's for. I mean, I understand like you want to have a bigger role, but you're not that type of player to like do that much. Like they want you there just to shoot and play defense. That's your role. And if you're not okay with that, you can bounce. So he might be gone, and he's not a player that has like great trade value. I mean, some championship teams might want him. Like I could see like Dallas probably taking him, but actually I don't know. It's a lot of things with Daniel House that like, especially in the bubble where he had brung a COVID tester to his room, and I don't know what they did, but that got him kicked out the bubble. And then you get this stuff, and then you got the way he acts on the court. Sometimes you can see like he's just not in there for the team. So he's getting traded, but I don't know what his value is. I don't think it's that high, and I don't know why he felt like he should have a bigger role. You're just not that type of player to have a big role. They brought you there for one reason. So I don't know why he's mad at that. But then we got another report, and this one I understand. PJ Tucker has been irate over his contract situation with the Rockets the whole season. Believe he is worthy of a raise, and he definitely is. He's definitely worth a raise because they upped his role in the middle of the season and made him do something that he should not be doing, and that's playing the center position. He's 6'5", playing center. I understand he's strong. I understand he plays good defense, but he's 6'5", playing against these 7', 7'3" monsters. Like, no, like if you're not gonna give him a raise, then he should not be doing something that he did not get signed for. So I understand why he's mad at that. They just like trade Clint Capella and be like, just throw him in at that center position, and it obviously didn't work. And he was getting beat up the whole season. So I understand why he wanted more money. Then we got another report that said, and these reports were all back to back. Another report that said Eric Gordon was not pleased with his role and importance on the Rockets this season. And I don't know, it's just he's getting old, but like he's still able to score. I want to say he had a 50-point game this season. So I understand why he got mad, because he's still able to do what they signed him to do. But you got to understand, well, Russell Westbrook and James Harden, that's their first year. Obviously, the team's going to focus around building around them two. And especially with them two, you're just going to have to turn into a spot-up shooter, because that's how it is when you play with them. You're turned into a spot-up shooter unless you're a great talent, which, no offense, Eric Gordon is not a great talent no more like he was when he first came in. But, like, anymore, like, where you're going to, all right, I can't play this scheme where I turn everybody to a shooter because we also got Eric Gordon. Nah, Eric Gordon is one of the best shooters in the league, so go over there and shoot. That's why he's there. And he plays decent defense. That's why he's there. And he's a good player off the bench where you can just give the ball to him off the bench when James Harden and Russell Westbrook are not playing. And he'll do his thing sometimes, but most of the time he be hurt. So I don't know why that was a report, but I don't know. I just feel like all these players about to get traded. It was a report about Austin Rivers. I can't find it, but I remember it by heart. Austin Rivers said, it was a report that said Austin Rivers got yelled at by James Harden because James Harden missed the free throw, and he said James Harden blamed it on Austin Rivers because he was standing too far away from the bench. What? And I swear that's the report. You can go look it up. That's the report. He said he blamed it on Austin Rivers because he was standing too far away from the bench and he missed the free throw, and it threw him off guard. That's terrible. That's a terrible complaint. That's really terrible. If that's true, that's terrible, James Harden. I ain't gonna lie. That's bad. That's bad. You can't blame that on him, bro. You can't. That just looks so bad. So they said now they're saying Austin Rivers is unhappy with his situation and his inconsistent playing and his inconsistent time playing and his utilization, whatever that means. So I don't know. We got a lot of bad news with this team. Trevor Ariza, even though he didn't play with them last season, he also said he felt like he was disrespected by the organization, and that's why he didn't want to re-sign in 2018. He just felt disrespected. And I understand that because, like, Trevor Ariza, around 2018, he was the only person in the West that was able not to stop Kevin Durant, but to guard Kevin Durant in those playoffs. That's why that team was going to a Game 7 against that Warriors team, because he actually played really good defense on Kevin Durant. And like I don't know what his contract situation was, but I guess they didn't want to give him no big contract. They probably wanted to offer him $9 million, but around that time, Trevor Ariza was definitely worth 15 plus. So I understand why he was mad about that. But you just hear like 6 bad news about the Rockets, and that's wild. And then you look at it like Chris Paul can't play with James Harden. Dwight Howard can't play with James Harden. Russell Westbrook can't play with James Harden. They all wanted to leave the Rockets to get away from James Harden. We have to start looking at what James Harden is doing. Like, what type of person is he for all these great players at the time that they played with him wanting to leave? Like, why did they want to leave you? If it has to be something that we don't know, like maybe his character or something. But I don't know, man. I don't know. And then it also said, it was also news that James Harden has like teams that he want to go to if he did get traded. He said he didn't want to get traded. I don't know why, James. They're leaving you with a polished shit. Excuse my French, but they're leaving him with nothing. So you right now are like a top 5, arguably top 5 player in the league. Get out of there, bro. You're wasting your career. Get out of there. Request that trade. They're gonna have to trade you. You're James Harden. So it came out with a report that said the teams that he would like to go to, Philly, Miami, and the Nets. I don't know why you want to go to the Nets. The Nets, I don't understand why people want these big scorers to go to the Nets. I don't feel like they need that. I feel like Victor Oladipo, Drew Holiday are perfect players that don't need to have the ball and play amazing defense next to Kyrie. But James Harden next to Kyrie would be terrible. Who's taking that live shot? James Harden, Kyrie, or KD? Who's taking that live shot? All of them not averaging over 25 like they usually do. So that's dumb. But I understand the Philly one. I understand the Miami one. But the Miami one, I don't think that's going to fit because the attitude, like I just said, what is wrong with James Harden where these players don't want to play with James Harden? The Heat don't play that attitude stuff. They have a culture over there. If James Harden goes over there and messes up the culture, they will get him out of there so quick. Pat Riley does not play with that culture that they built over there. So I don't like that fit. But I like the fit for his playing wise, but I don't think it's going to work because the way he acts. The Philadelphia fit, I guess that's going to work, but I feel like you're going to have to trade Ben Simmons for that. So I don't know how that's going to go. But like the Rockets, like you're just seeing this is going down. Like I would be surprised if this is near the same team that we seen last year. I would be so surprised. I know Russell's out. He has to be out. It's Russell Westbrook. You got to trade him. He's still a top player in this league. If he has a trade, you're going to trade him, especially right now. And his contract is not the best, so it's in their best interest to trade him. But he's out. Like I said, you can get some pieces for Daniel House because he does bring what a lot of people want, that 3-and-D. I don't know what Robert Covington has to say. Like he's one of the best players on that team that hasn't really had no bad reports. So maybe he liked it there, but I want to know what he got to say because he is a great player that I think he needs to get out of there too. Definitely needs to get out of there because he is a person that can get paid for doing what he does at great defense, great shooting, can guard 1 through 5, and he showed it in the playoffs. He showed it in the whole season because they moved him to the power forward, and sometimes he's even playing center. So I wonder what he has to say about this. I hope he gets out of there. But yeah, the Rockets look down bad right now. Also, I want to say it was a report that just came out about Victor Oladipo saying he going up to players after the game, like on the opposing team, talking about, can I play with y'all? Can I play with y'all? Right in front of his teammates. VO one of my favorite players, but that's kind of petty if that's true. VO, you going up to other teams, asking them to play with them right in front of your teammates. VO, that's kind of petty. VO. There's been a lot of bad reports about Victor Oladipo, man. Been a lot of bad reports, but that's still my guy. But like I said, this NBA's all season about to be one of the greatest. We're gonna get some trades real soon. It might spark right like the day before the draft. The draft's next Thursday, so we're about to. It's about to be crazy. We get the draft, free agency, training camp, then we get Christmas games right there. So it's about to be a great NBA season, and I can't wait. So if there's any other big news like we got the last 2 days, I will come back with another little episode.